Exactly. My question to Mr. Avinash, what do you think are the challenges one faces maybe in starting their own practices directly after completing their graduation? So, if we could have your thoughts on this, that what could be that the students have to prepare themselves? What could be the challenges they face?
Right. Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Amity University to having me here for such an interesting topic. So, when Mr. Sunny approached me for this, it reminds me my early days when I planned to start. Although we all know in architecture, we plan to start from our college days, and we build all those rosy picture about the architecture. That, but yes, once you start, you need to do a lot more than just an architecture, as Mr. Parvez also said. So I would say here directly after college starting, yes, it's difficult. I would say any to start any startup, it's really difficult to start your own business in any field, and especially in architecture. Why? Because what happens is in architecture you need to have a lot of practical knowledge apart from the knowledge that you get from college. Because in colleges what happens is we are not exposed too much about the business aspect of any entrepreneurship that we need to have. The knowledge we get in college is very important because those are the foundations, and that's where we get the launch pad or we get the dream. So from there, once we start, we need to have more experience. So ideally, I would say you need to have some experience before you start, because that gives. I'll tell you a small example. When first I hit to the site from my one of my old office, the kind of terminology they were using at site, it was very new to me. So those kind of information or the kind of idea that you need to have, ideally you should have after getting some experience from college, from the old offices. But yes, if you want to start right after that, but my suggestion would be there are few factors definitely you need to consider. First of all, you need to have a passion, because there is a difference between passion and the fascination. Because what happens is most of the people, they say that yes, I wanted to have that, but the kind of pain that you need to have, you need a lot of patience or passion to start your own. So first you need to follow your passion. Second, do your research. So when we say research, what happens is uh, time changes very quick. Say like post pandemic, things have changed drastically. The kind of project or the kind of approach we had before the pandemic, this pandemic had changed everything. Our approach. So you need to do a lot of research about it. What's the trend? How do we approach? What's the psyche of the any client? Third, I would say is learn from inside. When we say learn from inside, that means if you have any kind of your a senior or anybody who knows who's running an experience practice, you need to get some information, you need to speak to them, you need to have some information about it. And most importantly, you need to find a mentor. It's really helpful. Even it was helpful for me as well. So if you have a mentor, definitely that'll help you to guide what is right, what is wrong for you, where to pitch, which, because we cannot ignore that fact that there are a lot of people in market which will exploit you. If they know that you are a fresher, then definitely they'll exploit you. So you need to have mentor to get some research about it. Then you need to have a network constantly. We all know, I mean, constantly, be it word of mouth, be it your known, go to known people, approach to the people. And here what happens is the kind of picture we draw in our college about the architect, we need to keep everything aside. We need to go to every door. You need to approach people, word of mouth. So the project and the challenge that you get once you start, is people will ask you, what is your experience in the project? When you start working, obviously we all know that if you are working for a company also, that doesn't count in your project. But when you're starting your own, imagine you don't have anything. So it's a situation, I always feel that it's a situation of chicken and egg. Because unless you give me the project, I don't have any experience. And where do I get the project from? But at the same time, that justifies the client side as well, because he's spending money. He's spending a lot of money, so he has all the right to ask that. So there, what you need to do, you need to have some known person where you can get. So that's where the networking works. You need to be very wise about the technology. Technology is a crucial. I remember when I started, I was not very comfortable with. There are many technologies. Somebody approached me for the virtual reality, and also I was like, no, the kind of the drawing and sketching and all we don't need that. But yes, after some time, I do realize that yes, everything has their own the importance. And now we are very much into virtual reality. We do use that, obviously not for maybe for client, but for our designs. So we need to be very upfront for the technology, especially post pandemic. Like, you know, Mr. Pravesh is from London. He's approaching, he's talking to us here, so we need to be very upfront in terms of technology. Our clients are, one of my clients, he's in Singapore. We're doing project with him, and so technology definitely is increasing the range of the reach of the clients. So that's the then another thing is develop your communication. Ultimately, I remember when I passed out my college, I met one of my senior and asked him what tips you give. He simply said, you know, you need to know how to sell your product. That's the line. I mean, you have to have that vibe. That's it. If you know how to sell your product, obviously in a right way. So that's where this great communication comes, and finance, obviously, because when we started, I remember the most challenging thing for me was because I don't have any partner. I was alone, so it was difficult thing for me to ask how much to charge, because it's a very, I mean, you need to, and that time it's really difficult to count what man hour it takes, how much it will take. You'll be scared of whether if I charge extra, then that client will go off. If we don't charge, then I might underpaid. So that's where you need to figure out the finance, how much money you need to run the show, and how much, because it should not be below the need that you have. So that is the part that you need to, and you need to have a patience for sure, because when you starting your own, imagine all the odds, because if you have some experience, some contact, you have a lot of things to show it to. But if you're starting right after college, it's challenging, so you need to have some patience about it. Another thing is most important, and that is for any startup at any stage, I would say, is understand that the failure is a part of your, it's a very much part and parcel. You need to agree with it, and you need to ready for it. If you think, if I go for one or two project, if it doesn't click, that means I'm not capable of, or I'm in a wrong business. It's not the way it works. Uh, Generally, market trend says if you go for a 50 people, then it might you may fetch up one or two or five project. So you need to understand that you should be ready for the failures. And another thing is what happens. I have mainly sees that people start comparing with people. Like one of my friend is into it. He's doing so good. He just fetched a big hospitality project, or he has done this and that. No, he has different approach, you have different approach. Maybe the kind of path you have chose, it may take some time, but ultimately it should reach the goal. So that is there. And obviously when you start your startup, you know, you should not be afraid of taking any risk, because you are already into the well, you started, you are already in the water. So start swimming, better you start swimming. Don't afraid of taking any risk, go for it. And rest is the world, rest is the history. So these are the few factors I feel important for that.
Definitely, Mr. Avinash, I would agree to you because What we know, if we are passionate enough to take up our entrepreneurial journey, nothing is impossible. But then simultaneously, we have to start from when we are studying only. Again, have to have a mentor to guide us and to
Right.
just sail us through. That is very, very important. Nevertheless, we have to accept failures. We have to be prepared that we'll have hurdles. Will have a lot of hurdles. It is a bouncy ride we're getting into. But simultaneously, what we feel, entrepreneurs have to have a lot of patience. The other word or synonym that we can take up for entrepreneurs is equal to patience. So once you have that, once you have all these habits developed, or you are following all these objectives, I must say, and add on, I think nothing is impossible. It is just you have to target
Very true.
you have to target the bullseye in a way. The red dot, I think it is all achievable. Thank you so much.